Yeah, put that up here on the table. Yeah. Okay, here we go. All right, Eddie, we got it all together.
Just sit here. It's good.
Why don't you? Well, you want to be on TV?
Wherever you want me.
Why don't you grab a chair right here?
There.
Yeah. I'll just say this is Aaron. You know.
Show the spacing out of the room, right? The different dynamics of
Well, you got to.
and variety. Right?
Yeah, but the problem is I got this. We're slow on power. Yeah.
Knock it over. Top it. Good. You've done this before, huh? Spill it. Anyway.
True, it would be. Oh, we've got. They're live. Deborah Johnson. Okay, Addie, you must be live. Do you read the Torah or do you read the Old Testament?
I read it all. Well,
Okay,
the Old Testament.
we are live. This is Addy Ads, Attican Skywalker, the chosen one of YouTube. I'm here at the Shrimp Castle with my co-host Shrimp Suit, and we have a very special pair of guests today, Mr. George Webb, investigative reporter, and Dave Underdown, or as I call him, Detroit Dave. We met Mystery Island. George and Dave, how are you guys doing today?
Really good, Addie.
We're doing well.
As you can see, we're at the, I don't know if you can see it actually, we're at the Swing State Studios. Dave is actually in, I'm not kidding, Dave is actually in Michigan, and I'm in Ohio. And Ohio won today. The Browns just won. I'm from Cleveland, and I think the video we did in front of Brown Stadium yesterday may have made the difference. I'm just saying, this is the video we did, and he was the only guy out there wearing the Brownies garb. So, and hey, wow. Shrimp, I haven't seen you ever before.
Hey, what's going on? I've seen some of your stuff on YouTube and online.
Okay, great.
Not everything, but some stuff.
Yeah, there's 4,000 videos. And we also have one other guy here, the guy who runs the whole show.
Well, we all run it together. Hi, everybody. Yo, what's up, Addy? Shout out. Yo.
Is that Mr. Adler?
Yep.
Awesome.
Yeah, we've talked on Patrick and Addy. I try to keep up with all your, it's tough to keep up with you, right, George? But all your people you've been hanging with the last few months, I try to make sure that they know,
What's up?
George Webb sent me, right? Isn't that what you say? Go hit these people on Patreon and say George Webb sent me ! And
thank you, Mr. Adler.
And then they know how their bread is buttered, right?
Yep. All right, I'm gonna do this, and well, no, I'm not.
Okay. Yeah, Daddy, you're the best, man. Love your shows. Definitely. Thanks to George for introducing us to your content.
Thank you, George, for that. And thank you, Mr. Adler, for being one of my patrons and subscribers as well. And we are going to have some new eyeballs here tonight. People from Shrimp Zoo's audience, I know, are not familiar with either George or Dave or Mr. Adler. So hopefully we can expose them to what George has been up to really the last 3 or 4 years. But what do you think? Big week this week, wouldn't you say, George? What you been up to this week?
Well, we built out this studio, and we've got it's ready to go now. Aaron is with the Swing State Studio is now ready to win or do scholarships for people who want a short internship in citizen journalism, basically. And from the end of October 15th to the 30th, camping available in the back, lots of homes around here. You can camp on the Michigan side over there or the Ohio side over here. It's going to kind of be a summer of love, only it's going to be in autumn, and it's going to be old people.
We've been talking. We were thinking, we were like, man, it's all about the swing state environment, right? Is Michigan, Ohio, Florida, right? And it's like, well, we've got Michigan, Ohio covered. What are we going to do about Florida? But it was like, you know what? We know it's just going to be another one of these hanging Chad situations. After the election, when it starts getting cold, George can head down to Florida and start dealing with Debbie Wasserman Schultz and the post offices and the hanging Chads. And because we know Florida, it'll be 2 months after the election. We'll all be waiting on Florida and getting the news from Florida. But for Michigan, Ohio, swing state land here, George and the Ospreys are staking the claim, trying to influence those votes. It's get one vote at a time.
And we're not
Are
coming.
you guys all Republicans over there?
Actually,
Mega.
Dave is kind of agnostic.
Yeah, I'm not. Yeah, I'm just an observer of the political scene, but I don't really, I don't kind of cheer for any of the characters. I'm more interested in trying to reform the system so that the way it was originally intended to work, it's more functional.
Yeah, and I would say I'm a traditional Democrat. I voted for Obama twice.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and
But I know that you like Trump now, though.
I like Trump because we were just talking about this. I like Trump just because I think we need 4 more years of investigation to get to drain the swamp. If this was John F. Kennedy's America right here, there's JFK. That's the only president. That's the only political thing that Aaron allows in the building.
Oh, come on.
I wouldn't be probably for Trump because things wouldn't need fixing or draining. I don't know if Joe is the guy to do it. He's had the 47 years. So there are other people like Tulsi Gabbard, though, who I would back in a heartbeat because I think she would actually drain the swamp. So how about you, Trent?
Okay. Probably pretty similar to you guys, I guess. Maybe independent, maybe a Democrat or a Libertarian. I'm not really sure.
Yeah. But are you like anti-corruption or libertarian? More on the.
I mostly just started covering COVID when I was doing a lot of videos on YouTube.
Shrimp was one of the first guys on the bus, along with Paul Cottrell, back in January. He even was so far ahead of it that he's had people thank him for saving their grandparents, just from the Butcher of New York, Mr. Cuomo. Yeah. So we are here in Buffalo, New York, live at the Shrimp Castle. So Shrimp is specialty this year has been the virus itself, and he was really one of the first guys on YouTube, along with Dr. Cottrell, as I said. So
I did
for that.
I did Paul's show this morning.
For the fun of it, and these videos, and people hate it.
Yeah, he gets
I have a dying question about shrimp. I had heard that you raise shrimp, and how do you do that on Lake Erie?
Well, I was raising shrimp. I kind of quit doing that recently, but I used to make shrimp videos and stuff on YouTube too. I used to sell freshwater shrimp, and I used to sell coral and stuff.
There's hedgehogs in the basement.
Yeah, I'm always doing something with animals, so I'm always messing around with animals or plants or something.
That's
something
really cool.
going on like that.
That's really cool. I would only know about brine shrimp, like brackish water shrimp. So I was like, how does he do it on Lake Erie? And I didn't think Lake Erie.
like decorative shrimp for people's aquariums and stuff.
Oh, okay.
That's cool.
Okay.
I have a special request here, Zoo.
All right,
Shrimp.
here we go.
Because my daughter just asked me 5 minutes before coming over here, said, can we get a hamster, right? Can we get a gerbil? Can we get a Mexican walking fish? Maybe you know what those are, right? She had a bunch of requests, and I was like, honey, I don't know. We're doing a lot of stuff here. Will you guys come to our Swing State Investigative Journalist Bonanza, and will you help us build a zoo in the studio here? We've got room over there on the other side of the building. It doesn't need to be here with all the stuff. But cool. I think a little zoo for the kids over by the front desk over there could be a nice touch, and your expertise in that area would be greatly.
Yeah, I love animals. That's why they call me Shrimp Zoo, I guess.
I definitely want to come down, Mr. Adler.
Yeah, that's cool. Thanks for the invite.
Yeah, come on down. We'll have to, George is going to have to swoop everybody in for action.
Well, anybody who's hearing this, you can come down for a 1 day, a 2 day. It's really going to be about YouTube. So it's not going to be about like Trump or whatever. It's going to be about how do you upload a video? How do you edit it in YouTube Studio? How do you timestamp a video? What are some of the search tools like TubeBuddy that you could do, vidIQ? How do you go and do research for a story?
Can you explain what happened with your YouTube situation?
Well, yeah. I got in a little bit of trouble you know, you always have a problem with sources, and sources can tell you something and they believe it's true. And you hear it from, you get a lot of other circumstantial information, and then you report it. And you have to have it, you have to have a pure heart when you do your reporting. But I got into it with CNN, and CNN did a couple of hit pieces on me, and I was the one getting my life threatened by this guy named Ken Hale. He threatened to Waco my family. He threatened to come over and burn our house down with flamethrowers. He texted me twice that he was 5 minutes away with the person I was with at the time in Maryland. He said he was also going to Jonestown my family, which I met poisoning. So I said to Donnie O'Sullivan of CNN, I sent him all these texts saying, you're trying to make the person I'm reporting about trying to get to the bottom of this COVID, and that it might be a bioweapon, and a very serious bioweapon. And you're trying to make me out to be the bad guy. I'm like you, Donnie. I'm a reporter like you, trying to find out who did this, because it seemed to be a joint venture between our military and Wuhan. And he turned it around into a story like I was trying to encourage bad things to happen on the people who went to Wuhan. So anyway, they shut I filmed him and I recorded everything he said and all the things he left out. But he had smeared me 3 years ago. Same thing happened where I was interviewing a whole bunch of people who were dying from uranium poisoning about an hour down the road here, 2 hours down the road. And he made me out to be a terrorist. I was the one who was interviewing the people who were dying from uranium poisoning. So I have a long history with Donnie O'Sullivan, and he basically put a call out this time to all of his flying monkeys to say I'm a menace and a nuisance on YouTube.
Yeah.
And that's how Poppy Harlow talked about this on his show. Brian Seltzer talked about it twice. Let's see, Jim Sciutto. So I had a huge Jeff Zucker gang up on me, and I'm sorry I'm so defensive on this, but
Anyway,
yeah.
You want the real scoop?
Yeah.
You want the real scoop?
Sure.
You know, I think George is the last guy who should talk about George on this respect, right?
Yeah.
Almost like,
okay.
In a way.
Okay, go ahead. Yeah,
We're so close to the target. Do I go for it or what?
Right?
Go
Go for it, Mr. Adler.
So, there's a particular NATO courier whose name I won't mention, and her husband.
Good idea.
Don't. Wonderful people. I think I'm a top 5 or top 10 George Webb super fan. Okay, and George got canceled after he did this whole naming of names of these NATO couriers, and then CNN did the whole, oh, they're so scared, they're gonna. Oh, this guy on YouTube's got all his minions and all his people out here to scare these, people. Come on. I'm a George Webb super fan. Dave over here is a George Webb super fan. We don't wish or think or want or would ever consider anything bad to these people. We actually think they might be victims themselves.
Right.
We think that the people that, we're not going to say their names. We're not even going to go there. Whatever. The people that George's channel got canceled over may be victims. Unfortunately, CNN got to them first, did their little 3-minute, puff piece about how scared they are because this big scary man, Mr. Webb, got all his, YouTube minions to send them scary hate mail and stuff. Like, I didn't do that. I wouldn't want to do that. I'd buy them a beer. I'd buy them a coffee. I'd love to talk to them. If they are feeling insecure, I'd love to support them. And I'm sure George Webb's audience would all feel that way. And I know quite a bit of people in your audience, and nobody in your audience has ever remarked any ill will or anything other than possibly even these people are victims. But unfortunately, these 2 NATO couriers are the story. We can't say their names. It's a thing, right? Did I go too far? Or
No.
We're on track so far?
No. Tell us, should we stop now? Or, Dave was actually there.
I was there. I from my experience, the people that were working with George, most of them have are interested in journalism. They don't have like a Navy SEAL background, like a Ken Hale, who, when he makes a threat, you take it very seriously. I mean, I feel like we're, you know, basically investigative journalists. We're trying to, gather information and make sense of a very confusing network. And that's our purpose. We're certainly, looking to, shed light on who the key characters are, but we don't know their exact role. A lot of the information is obviously classified. And so we're doing the best we can with open source information. So that's our main purpose, is just, try to understand the story and, link things together. It's, we're not looking to, find the, point the finger at one specific person.
Could you hand me YouTube's finest hour?
Actually, I'll point the finger at someone. You guys want to hit the meat of the nut?
What is that?
This is a book, actually. The front cover having been ripped off because of my
The
inability
Mormon
to...
Brotherhood by William Svensson or Stevenson.
So, Addie, you did a show about Klaus Barbie a month or two ago, right?
Yeah.
So we got Klaus Barbie here. I mean, here's our index on Klaus Barbie. I mean, geez, like 18 references of Klaus Barbie, right? I mean, they're all in here, all the characters.
The Butcher of Lyon.
Yep. But, there's many of these former Nazis and everything that went on. And I'd say our working hypothesis at this point is that, and I know, I mean, we gotta thread this needle, because we've got China saying meh, 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 America, America saying meh, 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 China. And we are like, wait a second. This whole event in Wuhan, right? This World Military Games held in Wuhan, all when this whole thing's going on, is facilitated by one of the little slivers of NATO, right? Called the CISM, the Council International Sporting Military, I believe. My French isn't too good, right? But CISM, which I think at this point, without naming names, I can make the allegation that this CISM, the Military International Sporting Body for Military Olympics, is a Nazi cutout, going all the way back to Nazis, who is today out to get us and doing stuff, possibly releasing coronavirus upon the world. Seems pretty obvious, because a bunch of these dudes all ran into NATO. And when you look at this department, this CISM, which ran the World Military Games in Wuhan, it's a Nazi cutout, right? You've got these 5 European countries who start this thing in 1948, and then 2 years later in 1950, in the military games expansion draft, who are the first 2 countries that joined them? Argentina and Egypt. Out of all the countries in the world, Argentina and Egypt joined these guys in the World Military Sporting Body. And it's like, well, where did all the Nazis run off to in 1945? Argentina and Egypt. So it's like, give them 5 years. We'll get the band back together. We'll have a military sport championship, and we'll hang out every 4 years. And, 70 years from now, we'll release a bioweapon on the world, and it'll be great. I'd say, in a nutshell, right? But we didn't name names.
I did not know that.
The NATO couriers who may have been involved in taking a briefcase from the CISM office or whatever could have happened, we don't blame you. Nobody's mad at you. Nobody's attacking you. We would love to support and help you, because George Webb and his audience, I have not found one person in all the live chats of the George Webb universe who has ever said one bad or disparaging thing about these NATO couriers, which got his 105,000 subscriber channel taken down. And last thing, he never got his plaque.
I never got
his plaque. Can you believe that?
Subscriber plaque. And
never got the plaque.
One last thing, Mr. Adler. That book, The Mormon Brotherhood by Stevenson, right? The
1973 copyright?
Stevenson.
Am I holding it up good enough?
Yeah, you're good. Thank you. Yeah, we had somebody ask about...
Old school, right? This is old school style. Ripped book covers.
Well, I wrote a book about it, like I do everything else. I didn't write any books before YouTube destroyed my 4,000 videos, but I wrote a book about it, and you can read. There, Addie's got them. And,
I got a couple more. I think these are Shrimp's copies.
Okay.
Let's call him McDuff. And John was tuning in earlier. I saw he commented earlier if people saw that. And then the expanded Blackberries Matter. But your YouTube's Finest Hour, George, did that just come out?
No, it was banned about a week after I wrote it.
That's why I didn't see it.
So, but the Chinese foreign minister that you can see right there, he was saying it was the American athletes that brought it to Wuhan. So, as a journalist, you have to cover that. If the Chinese foreign minister is saying not America did it, but it's one of these 111 athletes that did it, you have to look into who are the 111 athletes. So, and we did that. That's a lot of hard work. And the symptoms of this thing is loss of breath, shortness of breath, fatigue. You can be asymptomatic and not know that you have it. We had the French gold medalist say that she got it. She's married to a Dutch guy on the Dutch team. They said they got it. There was all these French people that got sick there. There was all these Dutch people that got sick there. There was the Austrian team, I think they said they got sick. The Italian team said they got sick. Some teams didn't go. But at that time, I did not know about the Harvard study that said that the Wuhan virus started in August of 2019 in Wuhan. And I believed the foreign minister at that time when he said October 2019, and it was the American athletes. So that's where we went. Since then, I've talked to the family, and I don't believe that one of the individuals ever went to China, but that's all we know on the fact checking at this point. And look, think about it. All this time later, we still don't have any idea how this thing was developed, other than it was a joint venture between some colleges in the United States and Wuhan lab.
Perhaps the biggest kind of litmus test for, like a red flag, I think, is just the place that we ranked at the World Military Athletic Games. We have the greatest athletes in the world, and I think we got 30th or something to that effect.
Yeah,
right.
I think it was 35th or something like that. It
was
really,
and that's just when you see the U.S. not getting at least in the top 5, like something's up, But I don't know if you have any questions for George Shrimp. And Detroit Dave, as I call him here, he's actually, he talks himself down a bit, but he actually has quite extensive history knowledge on the Detroit area. And he has his own deep state knowledge, too. And we'd love to get you on the channel for a solo interview sometime, Dave, if you'd be up for it.
Yeah, I'd do it sometime for sure.
Awesome. That'd be fantastic.
Yeah, no, I've been, I'm new to I've been gathering a lot of information for the last couple of years and watching George's shows. I've attended 2 charrettes in Maryland. Really learned a lot in both of them, and trying to take a role of really understanding it and being able to share it with other people. Yeah, and and
we want to do charrettes here, and we would love for you two guys to come down here and do another charrette down here. Like Addie knows what they're like. We're not out to grind any acts or anything. We're really out to just work these stories. And when you do it in the round, when each person has a big screen TV and we have eight people working in the round, you can see what each person is working on very easily. It's not like we're all hiding on our own phones, right, looking at what we're working on.
Wow, that's a great setup, I think, for collaboration. And I'm sure we would both love to come down. We just got to find somebody to take care of Luna, which is Shrimp's bull terrier. She's still 8 months old. So
she's okay. Bring the dog. I mean,
yeah, okay. we could bring the dog. Yeah, so
a lot of dogs around here. Yeah,
bull terrier and the hedgehogs too.
Hedgehogs. I mean,
and you guys are in Toledo, right?
Do you have a camper? I mean, or we can rent you. We got plenty of space in the back, right?
They can. Yeah, I mean, we'll get them here. I guess we'll talk off air. Maybe to get them here or whatever. But they're certainly welcome.
He's going to find a way. We'll get you to a farm.
If you guys want to come,
Yeah, he'll find a way.
Can I answer the original question before I got crazy on George's whole channel and the drama?
Go for it.
Republicans, schmupublicans, right? I don't know what I want to say. No, we're not Republicans. Yes, in Michigan, I'm going to vote Donald Trump, John James, Tim Walberg would be the congressman down here. They do all happen to be Republicans at this point in time. But we're party smashers, I mean, maybe we're the last of the Democrats. I don't know. But Addie ads for Congress, Shrimp Zoo for Congress on the future third party platform that we are inventing here at the Swing State Studios. Right. And Trump, I mean, whatever, we could, I was a Ted Cruz guy. I was a Ben Carson guy, whatever, man. At this point, Trump's a party smasher, right? He's kind of a New York guy, whatever. Like, he's a party smasher. We're party smashers. 10 years from now, people will be like, what? Democrats and Republicans? You know, like, they won't even, like, that would be silly that anyone ever wanted to be that, right? Because, like, I think that's what we all are. We all think this is silly and ridiculous, and that Republican Democrat is just a school play that they're, like, you know, trying to dance in front of us, as if Mitt Romney and Susan Collins and Lindsey Graham are any different than half of these other people. You know, it's just, unfortunately, we got to cast our votes still. But we're party smashers. Like, yeah, we're probably going to vote Republican ticket a little more than others this time around. But don't say Republicans. We're party smashers, right?
Yeah.
George, I think you're a Bernie guy. Like,
Yeah, I'm
you're a
ready
party
for the hedgehog charrette.
Yeah.
I think that'd be the coolest thing we could possibly ever do.
I feel like the DNC and the DCCC, they're very tough to support when you kind of get into the network that they're running that George has really been covering. There's not much confidence, you know, in the, you know, when they talk about, you know, systematic problems, it seems like that, you know, the DNC is, you know, has an entire, you know, legacy system that they've been using. And of course, I feel like the RNC, you know, we haven't investigated them as deeply, but it's, you know,
it just seems worse.
Yeah, it just seems like,
I think it comes down to power. Really, the DNC is de facto right now more powerful and therefore more corrupt. And that is something I'm trying to get. Trump is agnostic voting this time around, but I'm trying to get him to cast a vote for at least Joe Jorgensen or something. Like my cousin too, she's like, well, I'm just not going to vote, but I just want people to participate as long as you're not voting for Biden. But you know, like one reason, like I would love to cast my vote for a libertarian, but the way I see it is we got to kind of be patient and wait for that opportunity to be, okay, now the time is right for the vote to count, where it's like we got to buy some more time. Like I think what George was saying, these next 4 years, we just got to, you know, get back on the ledge. That's how I was thinking about it anyway, and get some more time, breathing room, really.
Yeah, I mean, I think Trump is probably the better choice, to be honest, just because Joe Biden's like barely alive, really. A lot of people are pretending he doesn't have like dementia or like that his mind isn't going, but I feel like his mind is going a little bit. He says a lot of bizarre stuff. And he was just in power. He didn't do anything for black people when he was in power, or for anybody, really. We're in this situation kind of because of Joe Biden. We had a black president, and I feel like he didn't really do much for black people. I don't know.
Yeah.
Trump is maybe better, maybe, I guess.
Well, it's really interesting. Dave was saying that, you know, Trump was always, when I knew Trump down in Atlantic City, I mean, just seeing him around Atlantic City, he was always with black people. He was like, he was with Puff Daddy, or he was with Lenny Kravitz, or he was with Michael Jackson, or, you know, Leon Spinks or Mike Tyson. He was always with, they were all superstars, but he was always with black
like
people.
A white supremacist or anything.
Yeah.
I feel more as like a Hollywood elitist, like New York socialist, like social like elite or something. I don't know. I don't view him as racist.
Yeah. Well, I can't wait for the hedgehog races. I hope we have 2 hedgehogs.
And a shrimp farm too. We have a shrimp.
And you know what? Here, the thing that with the charrettes, number one problem is not the people who participate and learn how to do news gathering, right? It's the spouses or the significant others. They're the ones who say, you're crazy, you shouldn't be doing this. So if we had a shrimp lesson for the kids, we're real close to Lake Erie here. And then we had the hedgehog races, and then we throw in a few other things.
Absolutely.
I mean, that's a winner.
Lots of kids programming around here too.
Yeah.
Newsroom is Unit A. Unit B over there has got programs for the kids.
Yeah, all the kids could be right
Little
across.
dance studio next door too. We got the dance studio in here. So.
And you guys are in Toledo, right?
We're on the state line. Dave's in Michigan. I'm in Ohio.
Okay.
Toledo's about 6 miles.
Toledo is like half a mile from where we are right now.
Okay, Toledo about half a mile.
George, throw a stone into Toledo. That's why he's saying he's in.
Yeah. I may have to sleep on the Michigan side just because Ohio State Buckeyes just beat up on my Badgers on my whole childhood. So
they beat up on all of our teams out here.
Yeah, right.
The field the same way, Addy. We can sympathize
Well,
with that.
Well, you don't have to stay here at the Swing State Cafe. You can go. Well, we're going to add a Keurig coffee maker. So
definitely there'll be free lodging, sleeping bag free lodging for anyone up
oh,
for
sleeping
it.
bag, no problem.
Yeah, I mean anybody could be here on the sleeping
Or
bag.
a tent back outside.
Yeah.
You could have literally a tent the size of
And there's
Muammar
affordable.
Gaddafi. I mean, you could have a huge tent.
There's also hotels that are about 6 miles away that if people are more comfortable getting a room or staying in their own place, that's also available. It's not the campers and everybody that want to rough it. That's totally welcome, but there's other options available too.
Yeah, I like sleeping. I'm good sleeping
preferences.
on floors. I've been in Europe backpacking, so I'm used to that. I actually tried sleeping out of the or right outside the Stazione Centrale, the central station in Palermo, Italy, and the armed carabinieri came up and told me to go and leave because they're like, "Yo, it's dangerous here." So I had to go and buy a hotel there. So I actually got kicked. I had the authorities made me go to a hotel or somewhere safer. They wouldn't let me stay in the public train station. So that shows you the lengths I'll go to.
Well, we'll keep you safe around here. That's for sure. Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
I talked to Aaron about putting in a hot shower. Those kind where you can heat it up outside the Coleman showers. And he said, yeah.
I mean, we could. That's
I mean, because really it's still warm here. You don't even have the jackets yet. And
yeah, it was warm today too. And it's like I was watering the grass today. It's been pretty warm here.
yeah, I mean, you might need to go to a hotel in a week or two, but we may open this thing up earlier for just Woodstock.
Yeah, I mean, there, the whole rest of the country is kind of decided, right? I mean, you got Michigan, Ohio, maybe a little bit of Pennsylvania, a little bit of Wisconsin, a little bit of Nevada, and then there's Florida. I still don't believe the Texas thing. Like, if Texas is a swing state, then
Yeah, I don't think Texas is a swing state.
no way, right?
Like Houston downtown's liberal, but rest of Texas, not very much.
I think it's pretty much, Michigan, Ohio, Wisconsin, Pennsylvania, Florida.
Yeah,
Right.
and I don't want you guys to come away with the idea that this is all about now and politics. We cover that. We cover the weapons networks, the drug networks. But if you look over at that board right there in the corner, we're talking about a FBI agent that was trying to break a network, of Nazis or Russians or both 50 years ago. So we connect the dots with the history. It's anti-corruption is our platform, I think.
I mean, it's interesting. We definitely have two kind of generational things going on. I don't know, George, I don't actually know George's age.
59.
Oh, he said it. Oh, you didn't, I guess, whatever. 59.
Soon to be 60.
Soon to be 60. And certainly a lot of George's guys in his orbit that I've been watching over the last couple of years are 60 or older, right? I'd say. And then you've got us guys who are kind of younger.
No.
What?
No, my demographic goes down to guys 35 and over, especially if they have military experience.
I mean, McDuff is.
Well, McDuff's
skews
higher.
60.
Yeah,
think,
but
right?
I do best. I do best 55 to 65. I drop over 65. McDuff goes up over 65. Now I do pick up cat ladies, unfortunately, which is a knock on me. But they're cat ladies for a reason. Their grandkids have OD'd, and they want somebody to break the drug network that killed their kids. So it's kind of like, okay, I understand they're cat ladies.
I mean, more so as I look at the screen that I'm presently on here with you, George, and these two younger guys.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm with them.
Right.
I'm here hanging with you, but
how old are you?
I'm 37.
Okay.
Well, I'm older.
A little different, right? These guys
I'm
are in their
older than
20s
you.
maybe, but I think
Eddie's 25.
I'm 38.
Here,
You're 28.
Here's the,
Zoom?
the
I'm
YouTube
38.
bald spot, huh?
Oh, 38.
25, I'm 38.
Oh,
Who's your
okay,
age?
nice.
Yeah.
Well, it's all about history, certainly everything in the craziness of today is going on, but I think for young people, if I get to call myself still a young person,
I think so.
it's super about history and how I think a lot of our minds are just blown that what? I got to be this old and all the history was all bogus. And it took me finding George and his entourage on YouTube and digging into things to realize that oh no, all of this history that all these people told me about is probably just straight fraudulent.
Yeah.
A lone gunman killed Kennedy, right? Oh, the Gulf of Tonkin happened. Oh, the World Trade Center buildings just fell because an airplane hit them. Like, what is going on? The history's
now
fake.
you're selling the Mossad short, because we pre-wire all of our buildings with explosives just in case a plane hits the other two. So Building 7 was a precautionary measure Mossad took. We had to pull it. So there you go.
Oh, I did want to ask George something.
Sure.
Because me and Addie talked about Israel a few times. What do you think about Israel? Would you describe yourself as a Zionist or?
I wouldn't say Zionist. I didn't want my kids to serve in the IDF. Now, that people are shocked at that. I don't believe in a greater Israel. I mean,
Oh, really?
well,
Israel should be a country, or?
Well, I do think Israel should be a country, so I am that, and I don't think it should be a haven for dark weapons. And the guys we're going after up there are Jewish, but they're also Chabad Lubavitch, and they're bloodthirsty killers. And so we're not above calling out bad Mossad versus good Mossad. Jared Kushner is good Mossad. Bibi Netanyahu is good Mossad in my
Jared
book.
Kushner is good Mossad, you think?
Good Mossad, yeah.
Because I think Addie thinks he's bad. I'm sure.
I'm not sure, George. I'm just not sure.
Sure
He's such a, I don't know. He's like that key crossover bridge to us and BB's camp, right? So he's got a lot of sway as long as Trump holds the reign. And I'm just not sure. I did read recently, I think it was today, that he was being, or a whistleblower within the Kushner camp said that they were being told to downplay the numbers of the virus. I didn't corroborate that with any other sources, but could you teach us a little more about Kushner and your understanding of Jared, George?
Well, I think if you're going to go into a fight with bad Mossad, you need your eyes and ears open, and so that you're gathering the intelligence so that you can leak the Joe Biden call with Zelensky, or you can leak the Hunter Biden on his encrypted BlackBerry talking to. We lost our video feed here. That we can leak his conversations with Kazakhstan and our good friends in Iran and Ukraine and Russia. So these strategic leaks, I think you're seeing a battle going on. Kolomoisky didn't blow up his weapons now in Beirut because he wanted to. It's because they were being exposed. The Huawei factory didn't go up in smoke for any other reason that's where they put in the backdoor chip in these phones. You're seeing various pieces. I don't know how many weapons depots he's blown up in Ukraine to cover the evidence of Libya, Syria, and Sudan and Yemen and the Iran nuclear deal.
So you think it was Kolomoisky who did Beirut?
Oh yeah. They were running into. Basically, this is the way Chabad Lubavitch works, and this is kind of the radical wing, the blood and soil wing of. And Lubavitch is great too. There's other parts of it, but I'm just saying the infiltration with Kolomoisky is if you don't take us seriously, we're gonna blow up your port. Okay, watch. It looks just like a nuclear explosion. Kaboom. Okay, now, we want our whatever port back. We want to keep shipping drugs into Beirut. Okay. That's how we play the game, and it gets pushed off on Israel. Oh, this is Israel. This is Mossad, and Bibi doesn't want this. He doesn't want a whole bunch of people in Beirut hating us and wanting to blow us up. So I think Americans, because they don't know enough about Israel, they put everybody in one bucket, and you're the. Well, we're the super Jew go. The super Jews over here.
Well,
Why don't you talk about Israel?
Can I answer on your behalf again, George?
Sure.
Did I do okay on the first time?
Yeah,
I didn't crash and burn.
I like your answer.
Yeah,
He was just trying to talk. He was going to talk. Dave was going to. What do you want? Let Dave talk about. He is so into the Jewish community.
Yeah.
In Detroit. Why don't you?
Yeah, so I grew up in a part of Detroit where there was a lot of affluent, Jewish people that I grew up with and went to school with. So, there are in their connections to, to these networks. So for me, I go from having these personal relationships where the families are great. And, I know all the, I know the families, and we had customers at our store. So, I think of it like, even with politics in the United States, you have your Democrats, you have your Republicans, you have your independents. There's a lot of different philosophies that go on. So you have to, to me, you have to evaluate everybody as an individual, and try to, understand what the networks are, because I do think a great strategy is to have, a scapegoat and try to pin it on somebody. And I do feel like, I feel like the United States and Israel are two countries that are going to be, potentially have, really bad behavior, pinned on us. I'm just trying to, understand everything, work with these guys to really, explain it in a way so that, you don't get the, an unfair, label put on you.
But this isn't paid. Everybody's joking. This center was paid for by the Mossad on a Mossad Platinum card.
That's right. It was, Mossad Black Card.
Yeah. Mossad Black Card didn't pay for this studio. So Aaron paid for it $1,000 of his own money, and Dave is not denominational. He's not coming in on. I just think that we need to keep drilling down. If we want to find the weapons network, it'd be like kind of arresting everybody in America because we knew that there was a gang, like Les Wexner. No, what we need to do is drill down on Les Wexner and all those Mossad guys, Mark Rich, etc., and find out how it works and chase the money and all that. And that's what we're doing. Yeah.
Yeah, I saw you had Les Wexner written up. Oh, yeah, there it is. Yeah, on the board there.
He's on the Ohio side. And
yeah.
then Max Fisher's over there, and his son, Philip. Yeah.
On the Michigan side? Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. And Kolomoisky is right down the middle. So he uses a chainsaw to torture people so we put him right in the middle,
From Ukraine, he just dug a hole.
Yeah. So he's right down the slice down the middle.
Should we keep going, or do we have a time limit here?
Well, they're going to ask another question.
Well, I was going to... The Zionism, do you want an answer to the Zionism question? Yeah. When you ask,
please.
Zionism, right? So we'll hit the screen. Let's see if we can. We're going to have to get cords connected to all this, right? Is that good enough? Can you guys see that?
Yeah, we can see it.
Yeah, that's good.
So this is the coin. This is the best picture I can get right here, right? So this is the coin. I actually have this physical coin that you can see later. But so this is Greater Zion, right? From here would be the eastern bank of the Mediterranean, right? All the way to the Tigris River in Iraq, right? I don't know if I mean
that right there would be the eastern bank of the Mediterranean. This
right.
This is
like
Israel.
So like this is Mediterranean, right?
Yeah.
And over here is going to be your Tigris and Euphrates rivers, right?
And this is the Red Sea, right?
And this is an Israel coin.
Yeah.
And so there are those in Israel who think, hey, this little sliver of land like here isn't enough to keep us safe. Right. And it's even more like here, right? Like, because this is Syria, this is Iraq, right? And there are those who think, hey, this much land's not enough for us Jews to be safe. We need all this blob here, right? The answer that I'm usurping for George is that George is like, no, I don't think we need the blob, guys. I'm cool with Zion. I'm cool with Jews having a homeland. But like, this is the spot that George wants, right? Is like common day Israel, right? To the Jordan River, which I don't exactly know where the Jordan River is in here. But like this whole thing, Iraq over here and Syria, needing all of that to be controlled for the safety of the Jewish people.
I think that's also the sign
is
right there.
Yeah, we need to figure out.
Exactly.
I need to really chop this map up, I guess. But like, this is, when you think about like, okay, they did the Iraq war, they did Syria, right? Why are they destabilizing these places? I think it's this. This is the Greater Zion, that they are trying to be able to control the Greater Zion.
But you're
right?
You're not for that.
I'm not for that, and you're not for that.
Right.
I think that's part of why we're researching together and finding common ground, is because like, no, like, hey, we're cool with this, guys. Like, we're cool with you having Israel. We're not about like, no, bad Israel. We're not against Israel. We love Israel. But, you don't need Iraq, Syria, and the whole area to be Israel. and that's clearly going on because there's a point.
So he's on the Max Fisher side right now,
Sure.
in Michigan, because Max Fisher, who did run drugs and who did run weapons to Israel to save us in the 1973 war, but he came up. How did he grab you? Show how he grabbed you.
What?
Here's my arm.
Well, here he gave me an elbow pinch right here. I was going in. I was a delivery boy at a country club where Max was having lunch, and he just grabbed me. Are you a Jew, kid? Because they like to recruit Jews, right? Like if they see a Jew who's a delivery boy, or milking cattle or whatever, it's like, oh, there's a hardworking Jew boy. Let's get him on the team. I'm sure Jews have been doing that for thousands of years, right? That's not a new thing that Max Fisher
But also the the caddies are the best spies, right? You don't have to have boardroom people, because that's where the executives go to have fun. So hey, just help us keep tabs on who's there, and we might introduce you to a Hank Greenberg Oconus lure.
Can you, George? Can you define that? Because we got some new eyeballs, as I said. I was going to ask.
You want to pull up Anna Chapman, who Peter Strzok now admits he worked with for a decade. Okay, and also then Butina was the next set of Oconus lures. But Oconus lures is a military State Department term for outside the continental United States, meaning foreign, meaning we don't have to do a FISA. And meaning if our people were trying to entrap in our Jeff Epstein, compromat operation, we don't need to basically adhere to any U.S. rules. There she is. This is the one Peter Strzok said he worked with for 10 years. There she is.
What's her name?
Anna Chapman. And
that was the Russian spy.
It's called the Illegals case.
She did a Maxim cover, the Russians.
Yeah, there she is. That's her.
Yeah.
Now they're making some photos.
That's really bizarre.
Yeah, no, they were trying to show her. Charles Ortel was at a party. He told me directly that he was at a party with her. I had a run in at one point where, just brief meeting. But this was the lure. This was the Oconus lure at all these parties that they were using. And then they filmed the guy.
It's a good lure.
Yeah, but the story I just did, where's Harry? This story here was in Ohio, just over the border. This is Mark from Neighborhood News Hour. But yeah, let's play this. There, when you start using kids each other and unwind this story here in Strongsville, Ohio, you can see we are in Strongsville in front of the police station here. Go ahead, Harry. Police station.
Last time George was here a year ago, I went up to the police station and asked him for records of Lisa Page's visit for 6
Keep going.
years. And any records that they had that corresponded to the European adoption consultants. That's what they told me.
So the bottom line is Strzok and Page got into using an adoption agency where they were getting underage children. One of them was a 15-year-old that compromised a guy in the Department of Cleveland for maybe control of the port. Kolomoisky is the #1 owner in the city of Cleveland of real estate. We did a video of all the huge buildings he owns yesterday, right? This is what we're trying to stop, using kids from overseas, and they're not adopted. They may never get adopted. They spend 3 years here in limbo being used as sexual lures. Jeff Epstein's filming them with his low light camera, right? Yeah. So that's what we're doing, is we're trying to end the use of minors in these compromise operations, and get back to, good old fashioned.
You have
Nice, George.
You have to convince Eddie of all this though, because he's
pretty
anti-Zionist, anti-Jewish.
I'm not anti-Jewish. One of my best friends is Jewish.
Well, you're like anti-Israel.
Well,
I don't know.
So Harry Vox, who is the most, you guys are stealing everything. You've stole everything, and now you're collapsing America with coronavirus because there's nothing left to steal. That's Harry Vox, right? But he blames all Israel. He blames all Mossad. He won't allow the fact that not everybody in Israel. I'm taking an extreme example, Addie. So if I can try to swing Harry Vox, Eddie's, you know, I mean, I'm
Yeah,
going
I'm
to
probably
keep
a
working.
piece of cake. Well, you got Robert David Steele to swing back. He said you made him go from black to gray. I think he said.
Yeah. Well,
Chat with
there's
him.
another person who's campaigned on anti-Israel and raising money, and Cynthia McKinney was in the same ballpark. And I had a fantastic interview with Cynthia McKinney, and she is a very strong advocate for the people of Palestine. And no way am I saying that Avi Braverman didn't put in all kinds of counterintelligence programs that caused people to go crazy and commit suicide and horrible exploitation of the people of Palestine by Avi Braverman. We call out the ones that are bad. And we've been calling out Avi Braverman for it, who was the protector or whatever, the governor of Palestine. And he tried all these biological weapons on the people of Palestine.
And are you still Team Netanyahu, George? Because Dr. Cottrell actually wants Bibi out. He thinks he's just too corrupt now. But I saw you look kind of disappointed when he told you that.
I was. I'm like, Paul, all this time. You know, Paul is all, you know, today he's well, you were there, I mean, for the thing today.
Yeah, I listened to it. I mean, I feel like Ehud Barak though is sort of the other option. So it's sort of like what we were talking before with like a Biden Trump. It's like, you know, nobody's perfect, but you're sort of trying to pick someone that you think there's at least some opportunity to.
It's like Trump Biden. Yeah, it's just
like Trump Biden.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's lesser of two evils
like
in a
one
way.
Is great and the other one's terrible. It's just that they both have their histories and their networks.
Yeah, Ehud Barak is a convicted rapist in his own country.
Yeah, Ehud Barak is Mossad. Okay, so and bad Mossad. So they're the ones who think up these things, like these coronavirus and so forth. You know, we've talked about the intermediaries in Congress, the Awans being the intermediaries, the people, you know, that are used typically by MI6 Mossad to do these things. Blackberries Matter. Yeah, it's a great book. So it's not like we're not calling out, but you know, we had one guy, an author, came to our thing who was Greg. He wasn't Jewish, I don't think, and he basically said you can't influence somebody if you have hate. If you're going to hate on them in the first 3 minutes, you know, how are you going to change somebody's mind if you're going to hate on them in the first 3 minutes? And he made a very good point. You know, it's like, let's worry about what are things that were common. But anyway, I'm sorry. I'll let you ask another question. No, we won't.
No. Go ahead, Mr. Adler.
I want the closing remarks.
Okay.
I'm good. I'm gonna bite my tongue till we're done, and I get the no. We're hiding it. We're hiding it.
See,
Okay.
We're
he's
hiding it
making
for the
you
closing.
think. He's making you think it's a Bible, but it's a Torah. You know.
No, we don't need George to influence Addy ads. We will use scripture to make
okay.
like George has got enough on his plate to worry about.
Did you find the Bible in here?
I mean, I'm holding the Bible in my hand.
Are you somebody that's influenced by the Bible greatly? Are you a religious? What?
I went to Christian Lutheran school through 8th grade. So I was a private school kid through 8th grade. And I don't know. I think that's like one reason I don't wear a cross, and I don't like it when people wear crosses, because I think it's like, to me, it's just virtual signaling. Like, it's the same idea, more or less. It's like, oh, look at me, I'm a Christian. And I understand not everybody thinks of it that way. But yeah, I do read Proverbs sometimes and Psalms occasionally. But I do think there's a lot of just wacky stories that you read in the Bible. I don't think there's any way you can say it otherwise. And another thing too, I was thinking about, I said I do book reviews. I think the most recent one I did for George was actually this one. And I did 2 yesterday, one on Charlie Robinson's book, The Octopus of Global Control, and then Sean Atwood's book, Clinton Bush CIA Conspiracies from the Boys on the Tracks to Jeffrey Epstein. And I was thinking about doing a book review of the Bible by God book review. I thought that would be kind of funny. But I haven't read the whole thing. And one thing I noticed about it too, it's like it's so open to each individual person's interpretation. And I think that's where a lot of ideological differences come in, is people understanding the same set of text and language differently. And Ultimately, I think that's at the core of politics, is just fighting over the meaning of words. It seems like it, but
Well, I'll throw this out. I mean, this is the one place where people are actually talking in America. Everywhere else, you're either wearing a mask, or you're not. There's all these, you go in that corner, we go in this corner, and this is what they want to stop. They don't want to. They want to see people who all believe the same thing in groups, so that they can feed this thing. And
Like
they don't. Yeah, they don't want to see people actually having an honest debate and trying to work through a common agreement.
We're the sheepdogs, though. This is a group of sheepdogs here.
Yeah. So
like
are
it.
you
I
ready?
like it.
Shrimp, I'm sorry. Do you have a question?
Yeah, do you want to question Shrimp before we before Mr. Adler shows us what's going on with
Closing remarks.
the Bible?
Close us out.
I guess I'll ask, what do you think the CFR for COVID is, and what do you think the R naught is? How seriously do you take COVID? I think it's 1% or less fatality rate, I guess, and I think it seems to be pretty contagious.
Well, I think there's about 1,000 strains. You could do that with robotic drug development now. And what strain they're going to hit us with next, I don't know. So you always have to be prepared for bioweapon and the deployment, even if it's a 2% chance. So I agree. The first round, I've been told by somebody out of Sandia Labs that there was 2 main strains, a weak strain and a lethal strain, a safe strain S, where they were just mapping the epidemiology of it. And then there's this lethal strain. So I'm always afraid of this lethal strain coming out in an October type surprise.
I think that's the Europe strain, and then the West Coast got the weak one.
Yeah. And the world may have gotten both. If you if you want to go out and clean out, if you're black nobility in Reggio Emilio, and you want to get that family out that killed your Pope, 300 years ago, you might just go with the fogger through their village at night. If you look at the death pattern in Italy, it actually does form a cross down the spine of Italy and the chest of Italy, if you will. How did that happen? I realize the train lines run like that, but I don't know. It just seemed like there was something going on there.
One thing I do know is that bad things happen to people who investigate the Roman Catholic Church.
Or Scientology.
Or Scientology, yeah. All these are, people who have made the decision, will take money and will provide you intelligence in exchange. And that's always a bad combination, I think. Here we go. You ready for the big lineup? Are you going to speak?
Well, we could keep going, but I mean,
I
keep your stuff to an hour.
I want to say one thing.
Yeah, please do.
Cottrell is all contrite today, right? Because he's the last day of Yom Kippur. He's all for, trying to forgive people and everything. And I said, Paul, Shrimp, right? There's like a handful of people that took the time to communicate what was really going on. And in darkness, you run into every piece of furniture. Even a little candle helps tremendously, right? Your visibility into these situations. And Shrimp, you did it. Paul Cottrell did it. And the world should be grateful and stop trying to say, is there one thing I could have done differently? But you followed Paul. You saw him today. Mm-hmm. And, can you send a message to Paul and tell him to be proud of what he did?
No, I think it's, I feel like the being on YouTube, with even doing these charrettes, trying to inspire people, there isn't a lot of, at least for me, a lot of feedback on what you're doing and any idea of like what the impact could be. But he's working really hard to try to, have a logical, medical approach to understanding this and, taking really complicated topics and filtering it down so that someone that doesn't have a medical degree can understand it and try to make good decisions. So I think that's a great thing to do. And, I think we need more people like Paul.
Yeah. I just, I wish guys like Paul and Shrimp got more credit where it is due. I think hopefully history plays them a better attuned than what YouTube has done so far with both of their accounts getting subscriber bleeds. And I've been logged into Shrimp's account a couple of times, just helping tweak some stuff on his account, and it's just mind-bogglingly backwards how he's losing subscribers. And Paul told me the same thing's happening to him, where he bleeds subscribers slowly and slowly. So, and Shrimp was saying about Paul, he thinks Paul should be at 100K or more because of his work. And I agree, and I think Shrimp should be much higher too. So there's obviously forces that are trying to suppress this information.
Paul Cottrell was saying, like, in early January that it was going to be a pandemic, and then my ex at the time was a radiologist at the hospital. They were testing for COVID, but they didn't have the test kits yet, so they were sending them home to self-quarantine, and they weren't telling, like, the New York Health Department, or if they were, it wasn't reported to the media. So just in Buffalo alone, we had hundreds of cases going through my ex's hospital where she worked. And, like, in America, we still had officially no cases, but there was hundreds already in Buffalo that were just being sent home to isolate. And I told Dr. Paul Cottrell, that's how I got started covering COVID.
Yeah, I remember that.
I met Shrimp through Paul as well. So he's just like a point guard, you know, he's just assisting everybody, getting all the assists.
Yeah, I remember this now because he had this famous CDC phone call, the CDC whistleblower, saying they're covering it up because they want to spread it big time to, you know, I think they were trying to throw a porcupine in Trump's lap. But, well, what I'm doing is I'm writing a book about you guys. This isn't it, but it shows that I do write books about people on YouTube. And it's going to be something on the order of those who told the truth, or those who were bold, you know, something like that, because your chances of having a second book written about you are much better if you've had a first book written about you. And, you know, kind of break the ice. And so I'm not waiting for somebody else to write the book. And I am writing it now. I'll certainly add Shrimp's contribution. I didn't know that. I knew there was a Buffalo connection, but I didn't realize you were the Buffalo connection, which is really huge. Yeah. You're a huge part of the story now.
Yeah, he has contacts at, like, the top of Roswell, and he had this, like, basically this leak from the inside, and he was going full balaclava with his ex at the beginning to hide their identities.
Oh wow!
Back when things were really tight at the first whirlwind storm of this.
Yeah, my ex pretty much, she kind of latched me over the fact that we whistle blew from Millard Fillmore Hospital, and then I whistle blowed on the head of Roswell because he was saying that all Jews should die and Trump should die. And a lot of my family got mad, and a lot of my friends got mad, but head of Roswell, I used to be his friends with, and they were saying COVID was fake and they weren't going to take the testing serious and stuff. And I had a video on it, but a lot of my videos get taken down. Yeah.
Oh, that's okay. You ready for the windup?
Yeah,
I'll definitely put you in the book.
Before we hand it off to Mr. Adler, can we just have a quick post game chat after our outro, and then after Mr. Adler does his
Sure.
Okay,
I don't have to do the outro. It just seems so
let him do his thing, because it's going to be
no.
You know, Paul Cottrell. There was a second outbreak on September 9th, and I had written a book called Corona 911. It's not here, but anyway. And they banned it. Amazon banned it, so I retitled it because there's 5 bioweapons programs to Anthrax 911, and that one they let me sell. But Paul, he confirmed to me today that there was a second spike, and they had 3 young people die in Brooklyn, Hasidic Jews. But Paul has this theory that if you're very Orthodox, you don't go to the doctor. As you know, I believe in doctors. Believe me, I spent a lot of my life raising one. So that maybe, you know, as the priests, the rabbis go and speak the Torah, maybe that's how, you know, because they go from community to community. That was his theory today, and I don't throw acid on any theory on the first day. That's the first day of the Shret. The second day of the Shret, we pick the best ideas. And the third day of the Shret, we figure out how to go do them. So it's a 3-day thing, and Addie's been to one now, so he knows that's what we do. So here he is,
Oh, stop.
Aaron Adler in all his
Do they have
glory.
any more questions? Keep going if they have questions.
Okay.
Have we been an hour already? I mean, these shows.
Yeah,
I'm
we're
just-
at about 1 hour, 4 minutes.
I was just warning you, he's going to be reading from the Torah.
No, I'm
and he's
not.
going to be speaking Yiddish, so I'm just waiting.
I'm not going to do any of that.
The coded message is, we need the West Bank. You know,
We're not gonna do any of that. We're gonna recommend to you, Addie, a book for your next book review. Right? If you're doing book reviews, some
Yes,
homework
sir.
for you that I think will check a number of boxes. It is the Book of Esther. Okay.
did she get turned into salt?
the book? No. That's
Moab,
the salt is Lot's wife.
Lot's wife.
That's
yeah.
Genesis.
Uh,
This is 2, 3, 4,000 years later, but it's just a 9-page book. It's real skinny, right? This is the Book of Esther, and we'll say a little prayer because I know I've seen some of your shows about women and relationships, and if you read this book, Addie, you are gonna get a woman as beautiful as Esther to fall in love with you. All you have to do is a book report on the Book of Esther, and a beautiful woman like Esther will magically show up in your life. But the more important aspect of reading it.
Laugh over here. We've had a couple conversations about women on our walks, so yeah, you're making him laugh.
Well, I've seen your walk and talks. You talk about women.
Hold
and
on, hold on,
relationships.
hold on.
Oh, here
I could add to the discussion here. Eddie doesn't need no help.
Very well. I mean, I've just been watching the walk and
The
talks.
problem with Eddie is choosing. That's
Okay. Well, either way, the Book of Esther will help you see and understand thousands of years of persecution and mentalities of Jews and how, they could get a little carried away trying to protect themselves and the way the pendulum swings in a way because.
there she is. There's Esther.
What, Esther? Oh,
There's
nice.
Esther.
So, the king loved Esther and he didn't know she was a Jew. And then they say, okay, all the Jews have to be killed. And then Esther goes to the king and is like, okay, well, honey, you're going to have to kill me too. And then he flips the switch. And then the guy who wanted to kill all the Jews ends up dying and the Jews are saved. But it's just an old story to the Holocaust wasn't the first Holocaust, right?
Yeah,
It's
right.
been going on and on and on and
Right.
on. And
Of course.
so these guys get a little carried away sometimes thinking they've got to defend themselves because things like this have been going on since quite a while. And, we're not here to analyze. Well, we are here to analyze it. We're not here to judge it, but that's a quick one. The Book of Esther.
So
and
now,
I thought,
awesome.
now you don't have to go to temple. Everybody out there.
and
you
she
can
was
skip
the most
temple.
beautiful woman. Esther was renowned for her beauty. So we just,
Okay, thank you,
gotta
Mr.
do it
Adler.
beautiful.
I'm always, despite what George says about my lack of necessity of help, I'm always open ears to older people's wisdom. So I do appreciate that.
Well, hey, that book's been around a lot longer than me, but that's a good one if you want to just get a review. It's 9 pages. You could read it in an hour and do a little review and
Will do. Yeah,
on that and everything.
I'll add it to the doc, no doubt.
And the beauties.
Okay. So the wrap up, Addie. What's your wrap up here?
Well, I just want to thank everybody for tuning in. People love when we get George Webb on the channel. I'm glad I was able to hook up George in Shrimp Zoo. And how long are you guys going to be in Ohio / the Midwest for?
They live here.
This place is here all day, every day.
I guess I meant you, George. You guys can you guys chat again this week?
Yeah, I'm gonna be here till Wednesday.
Okay.
And then probably back on the 15th. And depending on how many signups we get, we'll do 1 day, 2 day, 3 day charrette. Is the 15th? What day is the 15th again?
15th of Thursday.
So we're to 15th
Yeah,
through
Thursday.
the 15th, 16th, 17th, and 18th. I'll be
that.
back.
Okay.
But I'll do the next week if we have people signing up for the students, because if
Yeah.
the students want the certificate, basically it's going to be like Lee Stranahan's Citizen Journalism School. We're going to do the whole thing on how to put up a channel and run around with a stick and do all that. And then we're going to get a certificate that we're going to sign for them so they can go into their first job where they're or start their own YouTube channel like you did.
Are you trying to get a master's, Addie? I know you got your bachelor's over there in Wisconsin. Are you going for a
My
master's?
mother and my grandfather want that more than anything right now, but it's
They
gonna
want
be
you to get a
thing before I go
master's,
back
but they're trying to.
school.
They want you to go to graduate school.
Yeah, really bad.
I know how that is. Well,
Yeah.
I mean, you can get a degree, you can get a certificate from the George Webb.
I think I would prefer that, to be honest. Actually, I know I would.
Well, you know, and it's one of those things where you try to get into Columbia Journalism School, even though it's going to cost you $80,000 a year or whatever. It's nice to say, hey, when have you ever done any journalism? And you go, well, it just was a really big election that just happened. And here's my body of work, and here's the contribution, and here's the documentary I helped finish. You were in it, Addie. We're finishing a documentary about citizen journalism right now. That's hopefully we get Peter Duke to come here, or at least pipe him in here. So both of you guys are going to be in the movie. Dave's going to be in the movie. Aaron's going to be in the movie, right? Mark behind me and Harry the Greek are going to be in the movie. This is a movie about the people who are actually making it happen. It's not a movie about elites at the Broadcast Board of Governors, or what is it called now?
The United States Agency for Global Media.
Yeah, agency. Like the United States needs more global media. You know, they bought everybody out.
Or another institution.
Yeah, so come here, and I invite all your viewers to come here 1 day, 2 day, or 3 day. You get the certificate, if nothing else. You get the T-shirt. But I think you're going to meet a lot of like-minded people. Also, on the 10th and 11th, I might, if this works, I might come here around that time as well. May just go through the whole week, because that's when the Red Pill. I don't know if you guys have ever attended Red Pill, but Red Pill is it's this Jekyll Island thing that this Edward, what's his name?
It's E. Edward Griffin.
E. Edward Griffin. And then Dan Happel also is one of the organizers, and Dan Happel interviewed me, and I met him at Red Pill in Montana. They're doing it in Jekyll Island this year. And I just thought it would be really cool, to have people on the couches and everything, sort of a, sports.
Cool.
You're saying they're having that over there, and they're like broadcasting it because
so everybody's
we could make a whole big screen and do a big screen outside and inside.
Yeah, we got a movie theater. We literally have a drive-in outside.
We could do a drive-in movie theater. That'd be pretty fun.
And actually have a congregation in a swing state where people are actually being red-pilled, which I think would be kind of cool. So I might come back for that if we can get depending on how big a crew we can get.
Awesome. Well, I definitely want to come down to that charrette, George. And I want to thank Mr. Adler for being so supportive of me from afar. I'm happy I get to put a face to a name finally.
Yep.
Neighborhood News Hour. And you just started.
We are all Neighborhood News Hour.
And a YouTube channel. Is that correct, Mr. Adler?
Yeah, we got a YouTube channel. George has been here helping support it. But, I mean, you're all part of the team as far as if you want to be. I mean,
awesome.
The more the merrier, right?
Yeah.
I can't, I just a YouTube super fan who,
Yeah, we want Paul Cottrell to come. Yeah. We want you guys. We'll interview you here. We'll post the videos here to the channel. This is really, Neighborhood News Hour is 8 people right now, but it could be 800,000. All in neighborhoods all across America and the world. It's not. Isn't that the vision?
That's the idea. Absolutely. Yeah. I mean,
so.
Shrimp Zoo, Buffalo Neighborhood News Hour, Addie Ads, Wisconsin Neighborhood News Hour, right? I mean,
definitely, yeah.
Find a spot in every big city or medium-sized city.
Yep.
We could do it, but one step at a time. Let's get through this election and do our swing state, our swing state bonanza here. We got to call
in the heartland of America over there in the Midwest.
It.
Both very appreciative of you guys' time. I just want to hand it off to Shrimp before we sign off.
All right.
Shrimp has any other final thoughts?
I think I'll just ask people to like and subscribe to everybody's YouTube channels. We'll put all the links below for George, Webb, and everybody else on here. Donate to Patreon. We'll put all the links. Go click on all the links, everybody.
Please do. Thanks for tuning in, guys. Hopefully we can chat again before you guys leave Wednesday. Do you think that'd be a possibility?
Sure.
Do at least one more chat. That'd be awesome.
Yeah. That would be great.
So let's do a quick post game after this. I just want to thank again once everybody for tuning in from around the world. This is live from Buffalo, New York at the Shrimp Castle. This is Addie Ads and Shrimp Zoo. We've been talking to the man, the myth, the legend, George Webb, Detroit Dave, and Aaron Adler, the gangster from the Midwest of Neighborhood News Hour. There's the Greek in the background. Stay frosty, folks. Shout out to my Patriots worldwide, and we will see you all next time.
Awesome.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Now, is this our post game? We're done. Okay. See you, Addie.
Well, are we supposed to be?
Are we doing a post game? No, I don't think they're doing a post game. No, I can't hear him.